Hey there, Tim friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, then welcome. It's great to meet you, and if you've been around, then welcome back. It's always great to see you. So for today's video, I wanted to do a sort of mini retrospective about On Your Mark, the latest chapter of Forgotten Ghibli, and talk about some things I didn't really get to mention in the video that I found were really interesting. And besides that, I wanted to do a sort of channel update, life update, let you guys know what's going on since my last channel update. So this video is going to be pretty chill and laid back. I'm just going to be talking about what's been on my mind lately and what's coming up and what you can expect and so on and so forth. So go ahead, grab a drink, grab a snack, kick back and relax, and let's just get to it. On Your Mark, the Miyazaki music video that nobody's ever heard of. I mean, that's an exaggeration. Obviously, millions of people know about it. But I mean, for me, it was a total surprise. I actually stumbled upon the existence of the music video through my research for the Toshio Suzuki video that's coming up. And once I found it, it just seemed like the absolute perfect candidate for Forgotten Ghibli, which, is the series where I dive into and detail some of my favorite, lesser-known Ghibli works. And a music video in the 90s for a J-pop rock group directed by Miyazaki himself. I mean, the opportunity was golden and I seized it. And I am so glad that I did because it turned out to be such a fascinating story that I think probably a lot of you did not even know existed. I mean, I for sure did not until I had dived into the research. And so let's talk about some of the stuff that I couldn't get to and some of the finer points that just really didn't make the final cut of the video. One of the first things I wanted to talk about was this guy, Ota King. So he is a super popular, very famous industry insider in Japan, has like seemingly a limitless amount of knowledge about anime and the whole industry and everything like that. And he has a 2-part video series, which was actually dubbed into English and was a great help in discovering more information and the nuanced layers of metaphors and allegories found all throughout that Miyazaki short film. So if you're interested in learning more about On Your Mark, definitely check out this guy's video series. I'll leave the links in the description below. It's fascinating, and he talked about so many things I wish I could have included in my video, but there's only so much I can talk about in like a 10 to 15 minute video. But there was one thing that he mentioned that I was particularly interested in that I wish I could have fit into my video, but I just didn't find the time. And that was this, Miyazaki's storyboarding for On Your Mark. He leaves this little note right here, which in Japanese says Eteenal Return. And this is clearly a reference to 19th century philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Fascinating. I mean, as an amateur philosophy geek myself, I was blown away that Miyazaki had so clearly intended for this to be a philosophical message inside of his short film. I mean, clearly the guy is well read and understands a lot of different things, and there's a lot of nuance in his direction and storytelling, but to actually see a clearly delineated reference to a major philosophical figure, I thought was beyond interesting. And so what this actually particularly is in reference to are the repeated sequences in the music video. So if you've seen my video or you've seen the original video, you know that there are parts of the video where the plot sort of repeats or rewinds, or there are like alternate universes or something like that. And I'm sure Miyazaki intentionally left it vague for people to interpret, but the very fact that he put Eteenal Return specifically in the storyboard, I feel like warrants a little bit of discussion. So what is Eteenal Return? I'm not going to give you like a whole primer on Nietzsche because that's not what this video is about, but let me just give you a brief overview of what the entire concept even means. And it really starts with this quote from one of Nietzsche's later works. I'll read it for you right now. What if some day or night a demon were to steal into your loneliest loneliness and say to you, this life, as you now live and have lived it, you will have to live once again and innumerable times again, and there will be nothing new in it, but every pain and every joy and every thought and sigh and everything unspeakably small or great in your life must return to you. all in the same succession and sequence. Even this spider and this moonlight between the trees, and even this moment and I, myself. The eternal hourglass of existence is turned upside down again and again, and you with it, speck of dust. Later, he follows up with a challenge in this quote. The question in each and every thing, do you want this again, and innumerable times again, would lie on your actions as the heaviest weight. Or how well disposed would you have to become to yourself and to life to long for nothing more fervently than for this ultimate eternal confirmation and seal? So, in very, very simple terms, in a nutshell, what he's saying is, what if this life you lived, you were to live over and over again, infinitely? Nothing different, no changes, and every single aspect of your life was to remain the exact same way it has been. What if this repeated in an infinite loop forever? And so basically, Nietzsche wasn't saying to consider this as a real definitive idea of the universe, that life is actually repeated ad nauseum infinitely with the same exact specifications. But I believe he was saying something along the lines of, when you do live, when you decide to live, the choices in your life, are they choices that you would make again and again and again? Which then leads you to the idea, are you living your best life? Are you living the life that you would be content with living again and again? Are you making the choices that you would be content with making infinitely, forever, for eons and eons into infinity? And I think we can really, really clearly see this in On Your Mark with the repeated sequences of them failing over and over again. But the difference with Miyazaki's work is that the things do actually change. Each time that they fail or that time resets, they're able to have another chance at something, to change something, to do something better or different, which eventually culminates in them, saving the winged girl and releasing her into the freedom over the horizon. And, I'm not trying to make a definitive statement about this whole thing, but I think that it is very interesting food for thought, and it makes one really consider the notion of how we live our lives and the decisions that we make. And I think this is really what Miyazaki was getting at, However you decide to interpret the video, however you interpret the winged girl or the angel or her significance, or even Chage and Asuka, or, this dystopian sci-fi future world, it bears repeating, How do we live our lives? And what sort of choices would we make if we were forced to make those same choices over and over ad infinitum? And, as a segue, I think that really is the crux of why I'm even on YouTube and why I even make videos. I'm very fortunate, and I found a way to create things that I'm passionate about. And I decided to pursue a career in creating, these videos and spreading ideas and philosophies that hopefully can resonate, with you guys, the viewers, with people like you out there that are otherwise looking for something interesting or some kind of creative spark or some just kind of philosophical intrigue in your life, which, can help shape and form public opinion and can ultimately shape our world. I'm not trying to say that I'm trying to be like a policy maker or something like that, but I do have this fervent desire inside of me to create art that reaches people and evokes thoughts and emotions. And that's really the core essence of Tim Thoughts. That's what the channel is really about. And I think that's a perfect way to sort of segue into talking about the channel in general. So I want to quickly talk about the analytics of this video, because this has been a breakthrough video for the channel. Like, look at this view graph, look at these analytics. I have never had a video on the channel that has this kind of sustained growth. And it's been introducing the channel and the video and Forgotten Ghibli to so many people. I do have a few videos on the channel that are, in the tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of views range, but those all took a very long time to reach the level that they're at now. This is the first time that I've had a single video with such a major release in such a short period of time. The really interesting thing about the analytics for the On Your Mark video is that it has a very sustained, slow, steady growth, which I have not seen in other videos. So I published my Junji Ito video a while ago, and that jumped up overnight and then just died. And then very similarly with my Everything Everywhere video, it jumped up overnight and just died. And that's the difference with this On Your Mark video. It has this sustained growth cycle, which is really interesting. And I don't know if that will ever happen with any videos I publish in the future, but it's been a great boon for the channel, and it's exposing it to a lot more people. And there are a lot of interesting, compelling comments, and some not so interesting ones, but it comes with the territory. Wow, I'm shocked and I'm surprised. Maybe you're a new viewer, or maybe you've been watching for a while, and this is a question that I sort of wanted to address that's come up before. It's like, if this video is popular, why don't you only just make Ghibli videos? Or why don't you just only focus down on video essays? Or, things like that. Why don't you just do what, the algorithm says, which is to make videos that are very popular and people want to see? And, my answer to that is just that I can only make videos that I am inspired to make. Tim Thoughts is a channel that I am dedicated to for the long haul. And first of all, these video essays take a ton of work to do. I spend, many dozens of hours researching each and every subject that I decide to do a video essay on, and many dozens hours more writing and crafting the essay, and then dozens of hours more editing and putting together the final videos. I hope that you can see the results of that labor in the final video, but I do want to relay the message that these videos take a very concerted effort over a sustained period of time, which is sort of why this is today's video, because I needed to just take a break after so much effort that went into that video. I'm not saying that I regret it or anything, but it is very taxing for me to do. And that's also why I need to do other videos in between about my other passions, whether it's about Japan, or it's about vlogs, or Chikawa, or what have you. This channel is constantly evolving and growing, and so is the Timverse, and that's what Tim Thoughts really is about. It's not just about video essays, it's not just about vlogs, it's not just about Japan or whatever else. It's not just about any particular thing except me. It's just my ideas and my thoughts that I want to share with the world, and hopefully, inspire other people in different ways. Which is a perfect segue into reviewing the videos that I've published lately. So after my last channel update, I posted 3 videos, with one of which was On Your Mark, obviously, and the other 2 were Super Nintendo World, Japan, and Chikawa. So these 2 videos are perfect examples of what I was talking about. These are very passion-driven videos and stuff I really want to share with the world, and just I have fun creating, and they don't take as much effort, conceptually to put together. I have the footage, writing them usually doesn't take too long, and I can just have fun editing the videos, experimenting with new techniques and different stuff like that. But I personally do think that every single one of my videos are products that I am satisfied with and glad that I created, even though they may be about various different topics and ideas and stuff like that. At the end of the day, they're all really, really fueled by my passion. So I think if you enjoy any one of my videos, there's a chance you could enjoy any other of my videos no matter what the topic is. So if you're interested, go ahead and give them a look. I have a lot of different videos about a lot of different stuff. And so those were the videos I published recently, and I just wanted to briefly chat about the videos coming up. I want to continue exploring the Tim in Japan series as well as the offshoot Tim Explains Japan. I have this idea for a video about Japanese family restaurants. They are so awesome, and my wife and I totally fell in love with them on our last trip to Japan, and I'm planning on making a video that sort of details all the reasons why I love it and why they're so cool. Beyond that, I have a lot of Japan content I'd like to get to, more vlog kind of stuff, like how we stayed at the Park Hyatt Kyoto, our time in Osaka, and all the other places we went to in Japan. We did some really amazing stuff there, and I would love to keep expanding and exploring more of those trips. So, stay tuned for that stuff. And then, of course, Forgotten Ghibli, the next big video essay on deck is the Toshio Suzuki essay. And that's going to be a big one, a major concerted effort. I've already been researching that for like months now, and I have so much data compiled, and I just need to sort of reduce all of that into an essay, which is easier said than done. So that's going to take a while. That's another reason why I like to do the other passion projects in between. It gives me an opportunity to not only focus on something totally outside the video essay scope, but it gives me some time to sort of catch up and focus down on the video essays without feeling so pressured to release another video. And so you guys don't have to wait like a month in between each video. So those are the things you could look forward to coming up soon. Tim in Japan, Toshio Suzuki, and I just wanted to sort of ease things out by talking about some cool things I've been into lately, one of which is Solo Leveling, the newest, hottest anime. After catching up with the anime, I started reading the original webtoon, which is pretty cool. The animation is awesome, and it's just like a satisfying shonen kind of genre where this guy is like a super weakling and he slowly levels up over time by killing monsters in these dungeons. It's kind of like an isekai, but it's like a crossover because the demons come into our world. That kind of thing. It's just a fun, like action-y kind of anime / manga kind of deal. So if that's up your alley, check it out. Other than that, I recently finished rewatching both The Office and Parks and Rec, which I loved. I mean, those shows are like somewhat core essential to my being. They were so popular when I was like in high school and college, growing up in Southern California and everything. Are you guys fans? I mean, their impact is so large, I'd be surprised if none of you guys had seen either one of them. But I did want to say they both definitely hit different now that I'm in my 30s. I can relate to them a lot more from the perspective of like once having been an employee in a large corporation and all the sort of politics of local government and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing was I recently watched American Fiction. Amazing film, really. The writing is so smart and it dives into these really important discussions surrounding like, what does art really mean? And what does it mean to create something that you're passionate about versus sort of pandering to a larger audience? And the impact that it has on people and how we view diversity. It's very smart, it's pretty funny, and oftentimes incredibly poignant. Would definitely recommend that one. Which, by the way, I talked about a lot of this stuff on the Discord, and I just wanted to give a quick plug to the Discord. I know I've talked about it before, but I think we've finally reached a place like it's sort of equilibrium where we understand, where we're at. And honestly, with the Thought Space, with the Tim Thoughts Discord, we don't demand anything of you. Sometimes we talk quite a lot, sometimes not at all for a day or two, but it's just a place where you can come and chill and talk about basically anything, lots of different media topics like movies and shows and anime and whatever's going on in life in general. And of course, we have discussions about the videos that I make and ideas about videos and stuff like that. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, definitely come by and check it out. I don't even think I would be here talking to you right now if the Discord didn't exist. It's really helped me through a lot of tough times creatively, and the people there are incredible and supportive and so smart, and they are the best. But if you're looking for more support from a very wholesome community that is intelligent and witty and has a lot to offer, then stop by the Discord. We're always looking for new people to share their ideas and to talk with about whatever's going on in your life. The one last thing I did want to mention is that my wife has been reading this book called The Artist's Way, and it's sort of like a set of principles and exercises that help the artist develop their creative sensibilities and sort of figure out who you are as an artist, and perhaps more importantly, like who you are as a person. It's a weekly sort of thing where there are different tasks for you to do every week, and you journal every single day. And she's been learning so much and growing so much for that, and I've kind of gained some of that through osmosis. And I myself have considered starting doing it. And if that's something that sounds interesting to you, let me know, because I've considered starting The Artist's Way and doing a video series that sort of coincides along with it, like a weekly video series that sort of sums up every week's chunk of tasks and stuff like that. If that's something that you'd like to see or even do alongside with me and follow along, let me know, because if there's any interest in it, then I might do that. I haven't really fully decided yet. But yeah, it sounded interesting to me, and I thought you guys might find it interesting too. So check out the synopsis, take a look, and let me know. But yeah, I think I've talked enough, and this video is long enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, catching up with me, catching up with the channel update, and more thoughts about On Your Mark, and so on and so on. If you want to keep following along, check out my Instagram, and be sure to stop by the Discord. But as always, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.